Hello everyone, I think we're live. There was a little bit of a delay there. By the way, as it's the end of the year, I'm still using this shitty old webcam I had all year long. But I will change that in the new year. Anyway, who have we got? Hello Mr. Vivian, good evening to you. Been looking forward to this evening chat. I hope so, because this is going to be like probably the last time I'm going to bang on about Mondeos, because it's been going for a long time and I think I've sort of like covered most stuff. But because it's the end of the year, I thought we'll just finish off on the Mondeo theme, because they are iconic. They are my favourite cars, to be honest with you, despite the fact I have to work on them on a daily basis. So I'm just going to sort of like reel through the years, and you can all comment on what cars you've had, and do you like them? Do you hate them? Let me know. Anyway, Vivian, Happy New Year to you, almost. Anyway, hope you had a good Christmas. Yes, Christmas dinner nearly saw me out. No, I won't be having another Christmas dinner for another bloody year. I'm telling you, that was like, I only put on 200 pounds of weight. And good, and all the best for 2023 and more car shows. Yes, I'm sure we will. I'm sure Kevin will be on the blower as soon as the first car show turns up, and we'll be off out. Well, it's a day out. That's the thing about it. It's a good day out. Anyway, Vivian, nice to hear from you. I see you're still alive after Christmas, so that can't be a bad thing. Hello, Steve. By the way, Steve, thank you very much for the pullers and the little hammer. Luckily for you, I've got a use for it. I have got a 2017 Ford Transit Tornado Custom with a bollocks gearbox. So I'm going to pull it apart and find out what's wrong with it. So your pullers will come in handy, but like you stated, I may have to find another tool to slide underneath the bearings or something like that, or, you know, trim down the little legs so they can fit under the gears or something like that. But I'm sure I'll work something out. But thank you very much. It's very nice of you. I appreciate it. Anyway, Happy New Year, Steve, in a day's time. Hello, Dan. How are you? Good evening to you. I see you've got a ST220 there by the looks of it. Very nice. I wouldn't mind having one. Do you know what? I actually like driving the ST220. It's a very solid car. It feels good to drive it. It feels like, nice. Mr. Godsking, hello, how are you? Happy New Year to you. I know it's not actually New Year yet, but we're only a day away. I've still got to go to bloody work tomorrow, unfortunately. Alan, you should work on real cars like the... Let me tell you something. I have worked on Austin Allegros, many Allegros, and aren't they the ones? They've got like straps at the back, so if the suspension falls or breaks, the strap will hold it on the back swinging arms. I tell you what, years ago, I done plenty on Austin Allegros. So that's one I can tick off that box. I've changed to 1500 overhead cam engine in an Austin Allegro as well. Yes. Vauxhall Viva. I used to have a Vauxhall Viva HB 1967. I set that alight while I was on my way to town looking for a petrol leak with a candle. Well, I have done a little bit of work on the Vauxhall Viva. I always wanted a Firenza, but I could never afford it. A Trabant. I'd have to find one first. Bond. Invicta. You flipping out. Where are you getting these cars from? It's like, we're not in Russia. We're not in the Eastern Bloc. Renault 4. Hey, isn't the Renault 4 the one with the the column change? You're driving along and you've got the gears up here and you got like that with them. I remember the Renault 4. Robin Reliant. Good God. I have nothing to do with him. I just watch them fall over when they go around corners and then the driver gets out, pushes it back on its wheels and drives off again. Scimitar. Never touched one. Regal. These are all super. I bet they are. I bet they're all bloody super hard to find as well. Anyway, Mr. Godskin, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for stopping by and joining this lovely live stream. That reminds me, I haven't got a drink for God's sake. I could get the Beck's beer out, but I've been drinking Beck's sort of like all Christmas. So it's a special occasion tonight. I have a proper whiskey glass. And I'm going to crack out. This is sat in the cupboard all Christmas. Hasn't been touched. Honey Jack Daniels. So in you go. And if I manage to get through that, I might have a beer. By the way, someone can answer me a question. What the hell happened to the small bottles of Smirnoff Ice? Why is it they're now selling them in bloody cans? I like a bottle. What the hell's going on? I like a proper bottle you can clink together. Not a can just doesn't do it for me. I had to buy them anyway because I like the Smirnoff Ice. Anyway. Let's get the... There. Cheers, everybody. Happy New Year to you all. The Honey Jack Daniels, it's a lot smoother on your throat. It's really nice though. Bit sweet, but I like it. Cheers. Right, let's move on. Hello, Finn. How are you? Happy New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas. I did have well, it was quiet. Put it that way. I didn't do nothing special. Apart from put a few... The only thing I'd done over Christmas was put them videos together of all our little office bits and funny bits over the last 4.5 years, however long it's been. That's about it. I've ate, drank, eaten chocolates, and drank some more. That's probably about the lot of it. Anyway, Finn, hello. Hope you're doing well over there in Ireland. Chantep. Hi, I haven't heard your name before. Well, Happy New Year to you as well. What car do you own? Pop that in the comment section. That's what we want to know. Do you own a Mondeo? MSJ Cars. Well, hello and Happy New Year to you. You're new here as well, I think. I don't think I've seen your name before. Well, Happy New Year anyway. Camille, hello. Hi everyone, Happy New Year. So Camille saying Happy New Year to everybody. Good on you. Hello Alan, how are you doing? Happy New Year to you. I was going to start tonight off with, because the year is 1993. Ford have unveiled their world car, the Mark I Ford Mondeo. That was a bloody long time ago. I know the Mondeo's lasted, what, 29 years, and it's now 30 years. So I'm sort of like a year over, but 30 is a nice round figure. And we have covered the Mark I Mondeo, but in this video, I think we'll just go through the timeline of the whole bloody lot, just so we can bring it to a close. I miss them, you know. I am, even though the Mark I Mondeo wasn't all that, and it wasn't even that great a car. I still miss it. Sad, I know, but it's, you know, your life is sometimes defined by the times you live through. And I've lived through the Mondeo era. Mondeo man was born in 1993. Now he's had to say goodbye. 2022, I believe. Anyway, who else have we got? Hello, Sean. I'm doing fan-bloody-tastic. Despite the fact I've still got to go back to work tomorrow. On New Year's Eve as well. I will be having a drink. And at midnight, I'll be doing like everybody else, texting. I'll be like, yes, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Anyway, Sean, Happy New Year to you. Steve, hello again. For end of year, you could have been joined by Monica. I think she's probably got other things to do. I didn't even ask her, to be honest with you. There'll be other dates. I'm sure we'll work something out. Oh, I'm sure we will. Don't you worry. I know you're itching for National Bikini Day. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but you never know. We might get lucky. Sean, Happy New Year, everybody. Stephen, my mate, how evening, Alan, my mate. Hope you have the best New Year. Well, the thing is, it's the way you've got to look at life, isn't it? There's too many bad things going on in the world at the minute. You've just got to stay positive, keep with it, keep your spirit high. That's what you've got to do. Which is easier said than bloody done. But anyway, for everybody out there, just keep on going. That's the best advice I can say. Don't give up. Anyway, Stephen, Happy New Year to you. Current Mondeo Vignale estate, 210 horsepower. Ooh, I bet that can pull away from the traffic lights pretty damn quick. But of course, Vignale is like the pinnacle, isn't it? It used to be a gear, but in the Mark V Mondeo world, it's the Vignale. That's the top of the range. All the toys, no expense spared. Yes, I know. I've actually sat in one. Very, very nice indeed, I must say. You've got a cracking car there. Finn, how do you keep slim? How do I keep slim? Let me tell you a story. There was a taxi driver. This was today, actually. I had to laugh, even though I didn't laugh at the guy. Taxi driver. He stood there like this. He was quite a big guy, right, like that. And he stood there, and we've got like Costa, who cleans all the taxis, keeps all the fleet clean. So Costa's cleaning his car, and he stood there like this. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, mate? Maybe if you moved around a little bit, you might lose a few pounds. That's the secret. You've got to keep moving. You can't be complacent. You can't stand in one place. You've got to keep moving about. That's what I do. From the moment I get up in the bloody morning to the moment I go to bed, I'm moving around. When I go to work, I'm on my feet from like 8:30 in the morning to 5:30. I don't sit down. I just keep moving about. Plus the fact I don't eat that much. I have a couple of ham sandwiches during the day and probably more than a few bars of chocolate, and I only drink water. I gave up the coffee, I gave up the tea. I'm not giving this up, but I gave up the smoking. You know when they say if you give up smoking, you tend to put weight on. That never happened to me, but it's lifestyle, guys. It's pretty. Eat fruit. Try and eat a balanced diet if you can. All these things are simple, but they in the day and age we live in, it's not exactly easy to do. You've got to be sort of like determined. But yeah, if you feel like you're putting on a bit of weight, do some sit-ups, do some press-ups, do some weightlifting, go out and just walk. Do plenty of walking. You don't have to go out jogging, just do a bit of walking. Go out and walk around the woods or something. Get some fresh air. That's what you've got to do. You've got to keep moving and stay healthy. If you sit around too long as a couch potato in front of the bloody TV, you're obviously going to put weight on, and you'll get to the point where you're not used to sort of like exercising. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and carry on because I'm starting to sweat now. I'm losing more weight. Look at that. It's flipping hot in here. The government have told us to all turn our heating down, so I've decided to turn my heating up. I'm not going cold because of the goddamn government. Anyway, it's not. I've got gas central heating, so that's not a problem. It's the bloody electric that's the problem, isn't it? Bloody ripping us off. Anyway, I shall carry on. CPU basher. Hello. China. Do you know what? I bet they have. I haven't looked into it, but I bet. See, China have taken over MG and, like British Leyland, haven't they? China makes MG cars now. God only knows. I mean, the one I saw a few years ago was a pile of crap. So I definitely wouldn't buy. I wouldn't buy an MG from China just on the sheer goddamn principle that British Leyland and Morris garages were British. They're not frigging Chinese. So the Chinese can keep their shitty fucking cars and shove them. I don't know who would buy one of them cars, to be honest with you. They must be dirt cheap or something. But anyway, it's principle. British Leyland was British. I don't see the point in like a country like China taking the brand name, buying the name, and then building the cars themselves of their own designs. It's not the same. It's not how it was. And anyway, let me move on. Alan, what taxis will you replace with Mondeo? The Mondeo with? The truth be told, the boss is trying to sell the taxis. He would rather get rid of the taxi business because it's too much hassle for him now. It's too much aggravation. You can imagine you've got like nearly 100 cabs on the road. You've got all them drivers. You've got to deal with the bloody council for getting tests and plates and all that crap and everything that goes with it. It's a headache. Operators, offices, telephone lines, and the cars going wrong all the time, and smash ups and accidents, and it never ends. It's so much to keep on top of. And to be honest, he just wants to keep on. He just wants car sales and rentals, and it's really had enough of the taxis. So I don't know. As far as we've got at the minute it hasn't even been looked into, to be honest with you. So the cars we have are getting on, and they're going wrong, and they're going to go wrong some more. And even engines. I put an engine in a Mark V today, 2-litre diesel, and it's like there's going to be plenty more go wrong. So they're going to have to go shortly. So I don't really know, but as soon as I know what is happening, then I'll let you know. The Floor Killer, hello. Love my Mondeo. Going to see a Vignale next week. You'll be impressed with the Vignale for sure. Is it a saloon or an estate car? Either way, they're bloody nice. Alan, Mondeo, I mean, yes. Hello, Mark, how are you? Happy New Year. Good evening. Sean, hello. Looking smart. No, she's not. No, she's not coming round. This shirt needs washing. So, I mean, I wore it the other day and I thought I'd just wear it to... I've been changing an engine today. I look and feel like shit. I feel like I've been down a bloody coal mine. So I've just had a shower. I thought I'd bung this shirt on before I bung it in the bloody washing machine. So yes, it's actually nice to sort of like feel clean just for a little while. There's nothing worse than working on a dirty car that's covered in bloody oil leaks, and it's all down your sleeves and top, and every time you undo a bolt with the air gun, it sprays all the bloody oil all over your face, and it's like, for God's sake. Yes, it's nice to have a clean shirt on. I think what I might do next time, I can work it out. If some of you guys want to, sort of like, if I fling you a link to your email and you can come on the stream with me, do that maybe. Then you can sort of like have a little chat and say what you want to say, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure you could have up to like 4 screens on here or something. So something to think about in the next few live streams we do. Hello, Josie. Hello from Spain. I bet it's nice and warm over there, isn't it? A lot warmer than it is over here. I would like to be in Spain right now, sitting on Bikini Beach. That would do me fine. Anyway, Happy New Year to you. Amet, hello. Happy New Year to you as well. I like your picture. Blue skies and white fluffy clouds. It reminds me of the summertime. I hope we have another one like the one we had this year, nice and hot. When it was nearly 40 degrees, I was bloody loving it. Hello, Sam. Happy New Year to you. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I have got an interesting fault. B2242 rear door unlock circuit open. Well, without even looking, I would guess that chances are it is your latch mechanism, the whole door lock latch unit with the solenoid in it and the child lock and all that built into it will all be one unit. It's all electrical now, these door latches. So a lot of the door latches have the child locks, because you have electric child locks done from a button on your driver's door panel, and they go wrong. So it's probably the latch mechanism itself. If it's not that, it'll be the wiring between the door and the B pillar or A pillar or whatever. Stephen, I had a 2-litre petrol Mark 1, Mark 2, then Mark 3 2-litre turbo diesel, then my Mark 4 Jonah. I shall never give up on her. Yeah, but how much money does she want off you? That's the problem. You've got to, when the Jonah starts, okay, Jonahs don't like to give up. No matter how much you fling at them and try and fix them, they want more. And to the point where you have to stick it in the auction and make it somebody else's problem. But yeah, hats off to you for keeping up with it. I would have flung her overboard. Anyway, Steve, Happy New Year. Anyway, how far did we get? We got to the 1993, the launch of the Mark 1 Mondeo. I do believe it was 1996 that came around. They facelifted the Mark 1 Mondeo, even though we say it's the Mark 2 Mondeo. It was technically a facelift. However, it wasn't a small facelift, was it? It was pretty drastic. I mean, like the bumpers, the headlights, the bonnet, quite a lot of the exterior of the car had been changed. Even the seats inside were different. So I think the chassis was the same and the engines were still pretty much the same. But it was quite a decent facelift. But what's like to say, we called it the Mark II Mondeo, 1996 until the year 2000. But by the way, if you had some extra pennies in your pocket, you could have had an ST24. And what was it, around about 1999? The ST200? Ooh, that was like 200 brake horsepower, wasn't it? That would have been a nice car to own. Anyway, I shall carry on down the list. Marco, hello. How are you doing? And Happy New Year to you. Sam, that's the Ford Transit Connect. Yes. They still have electronic solenoids built into your latches. Everything's like it these days. You can't get away from it. They're not like the old latches that just a latch, mechanical latch. Everything these days has got something electrical bolted onto it. Power, power, hello. Good evening, Estonia. Flipping heck. You're a long way away from here. But anyway, Happy New Year. How's your weather over there? I would love to know. Josie, I'm #1 fan. Well, thank you very much. What are you going to buy now that the Mondeos are being phased out, when they're all gone? Mind you, it'll be some years, won't it, before they'll actually sort of like disappear. It's like the Mark 1 and Mark 2 Mondeos. You'd be stretched to actually find one. If you went out on an average day and just looked around the streets or a busy road, you won't see one unless you're very lucky. They're all gone. They all fell to pieces and rotted away. So I'm beginning to think though, actually, because when we got to sort of like the Mark 4 Mondeo, rust wasn't really that much of a problem on the body panels. And the Mark 5, they're really good. We don't tend to think about rust too much on these more modern cars. I mean, you can take Maestros and Montegos, for example. They would start to be rotting out after the first 3 years. So it's like they've certainly built cars out of a bit better metal than what they bloody used to. Anyway, I should move more down the line. Happy New Year, Sam. Gareth, hello. What mileage am I looking at injectors failing on my Mark III 2.2? That's a Duratorque, isn't it? Only on 43k. Bloody hell, that's done well, isn't it? A Mark III on 43k. Now, so hopefully not soon. Ooh, Happy New Year to you. We've always put it down to the candle that burns Bryce as twice. The candle that burns twice as bright lives half as long. That's the story of the Mark III 2 litre and 2.2 Duratorques. They are common rail injectors. Them cars, them engines are quick, they're fast, they're very zippy. That's why they fail. If you took a Mondeo 2 litre Duratorque with the old rotary pump and the old direct injection system, the injectors would last for bloody ever. But these common rail ones, they don't last forever. You could be looking at, I would say, off the top of my head, depends how it's driven as well, 80,000 miles onwards, you could well have injector problems. If you drive it carefully and don't thrash it too much, they could last quite a long time. But yeah, I would put 80k on it and say after that, and obviously if you're only on 43, you've got a long way to go. So I wouldn't worry too much. And obviously I know what you mean, injectors are not cheap, they're bloody expensive. Dan, it's the ST220 I left with you for 6 months. It's, oh, sorry Dan. Now it's all flooding back to me. I should have known that. It's still going strong. All the best for 2020. All the best to you, Dan. Happy New Year. I'm glad it's still going. I love the exhaust in that car. I'd actually love to take it for another drive. Yeah, that was. I did enjoy making the videos on that car. It was cool. Plus, at the time, I did have the actual time and opportunity to sort of like spend the time on your car, so it was great. I'm excellent. I'm really happy it's still going for you. Amit. Yeah, I did. I did see it open, and I thought, you know what? I'm too busy yapping. I forgot the shut the fridge door, and also put the ice cubes back in the fridge. There. I've never spoke about the Ford Contour, which was the American version of the Mondeo, the world car, because it's like, it didn't even look like the European version, so I won't even bother talking about it. But okay, let's move on. Marco, keep on doing this good job. Greetings and happy New Year from Germany. Blimey. How is it over there in Germany? What was the name of your Chancellor? Merkel, that's what it. Angela Merkel. Merkel. Is she still your... I haven't looked into politics, but is she still your Chancellor? I didn't like her when she decided to let the whole of the Middle East into Germany, and then decided it wasn't a bad idea. It was a really bad idea after that. Anyway, Happy New Year to Marco. Sikandar, Happy New Year to you as well. Nick Nack, hello, Happy New Year to you. It's a pity I'm not actually doing this tomorrow night, isn't it? But I thought I'd do it on the Friday night because I don't know what's going to be, hell's going to be happening tomorrow. Probably not bloody much. The one thing for sure that will be happening tomorrow, I will be having another drink. Alex, hello, how are you? Happy New Year to you as well, Alex. Justinian, hello, how are you? Have a happy new year. What are the future video ideas? Can we give you some, or you sort that out? Well, it's, oh God, it's unfortunately, as times change, it's having the time to actually make videos. That's the big problem. I'm just seem to be inundated with work all the time, and I just don't have the time. I would literally have to work a day's work and then work into the evening and come in early in the morning, and it's having the opportunity and the time at the minute. It's just like, the older you get, it's getting harder and harder to actually get anything done. But I have one I'm doing now, which is going to take a little while to when I get round to it. I'm going to strip another gearbox on this Transit Tornio Custom 2017. It's been making a hell of a noise, so I want to rip the gearbox apart and see what's gone wrong inside it. I know they're all pretty much the same. This Transit gearbox is pretty much the same as a Mondeo Mark V gearbox. It's a bit bigger and heavier and different gearing inside it. But I still think it'd be interesting to see exactly what's gone wrong with it. So that'll be the next one. If anything comes along and I do have the time, I will try to make something, because I do like making videos. It's sort of like keeps me sane. It gives me something sort of like positive to do. It's you know, just going to work every day, doing a job and coming home. It's not enough. I need something that, a bit like a hobby. That's what it's like. Something to sort of like focus on, to take my time so I can do something rather than sit around and do nothing. I'd rather be like making a video than sitting watching bloody, well, I can't say television because I don't watch television. By the way, now we've got onto the subject of television, time to open the mail, because yet I've got yet another letter. I'm kind of guessing who sent me this love letter to see in the new year. My old friend, the British Broadcasting Company. Oh look, your IN0100A30. What the hell is that supposed to mean? I don't know. I suppose they're supposed to scare you with that, the IN, yeah, that number is supposed to be, whoa, oh my God. Dear legal occupier, you see what? They can't even put my name on it. Why can't they ask me by name? They don't even know who the hell I am, do they? And oh, here we go. This is it. Look, an INO, they've something or number code has been issued against your address. We use it to target. They're targeting me. Unlicensed homes like yours that require a visit from a TV enforcement wanker. And you know what? They've been sort of like threatening me with this bullshit for the last 3 years, and yet not one of their turds has come to the door yet. So I don't know what they're trying to say, or maybe they can't find my address. This letter is a formal notification. You know what? I can't even be bothered with their bullshit anymore. In the trash can is all I can say. British Broadcasting Company, up yours. Right, who's next? Now, I've had my little rants now. Hello, Luke. How are you doing? Question, Mondeo ST200 or ST220? Ooh. Well, that's a difficult one, isn't it? Because the ST220 is a lovely car to drive, but the ST200 is more, it's quick, but it's more classic. It might, I haven't looked into something like this, but the ST200 is probably rarer and maybe worth more. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing it probably is, if there's a good one. I think I would probably still go with the ST220 because I like the Mark III shape. The ST200 was like, I didn't really like the shape. You know, I actually preferred the Mark I shape to the Mark II, but it's a tough. I'll still go with the ST220 myself. Yeah, I've made my decision. I'm moving on. Wallace and Gromit. Darren, hello. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Darren. Love watching the content. Well, I'll tell you something. I can't believe I've done that many videos. If I go right back to the very beginning, it's like, God, I used to put out some shit, didn't I? I still do, but I guess I have put out some useful tips during the years. But it's a lot of bloody videos, isn't there? That's a lot. When you think about it, the amount of time it takes to make a video sometimes is quite substantial. And it's like, I don't know how many I've got. There must be a lot. So it's like, if I had to sit down and watch all them videos, it would be more than a weekend. It'd probably be a bloody week. But anyway, thank you, Darren. Happy New Year to you. Oh my God. Your name is a tongue twister. There's cults. There's cultism. I can't say it. It's a pretty you can't talk through this. You can probably say your name to me, then I'll understand it. But Happy New Year to you, and thank you for joining the live stream. Had Mark 1, 2, and 3. What was your favourite? I'm kind of thinking it's probably the Mark 3. The Mark 3 Mondeo was the year 2000. Put it this way, lucky everybody who saw the new millennium in, because none of us will ever see another one, will we now? That was a moment in time. And what a car for the new millennium. The Mark III Mondeo, the edgy one, the quick one. I still like the Mark III Mondeo. Even though the basic models might not look that great anymore, they're looking a little bit dated. But when you get to the ST220s, they still look the part, and they've still got the go in them, and they drive bloody lovely. I think the Mark III Mondeo, it was my favourite out of all of them. not for practicality or anything like that, just simply the time that car was made. I just love it for that. I love the looks of it and I love working on them. So the Mark V, however, which is like a bit of an Aston Martin. Don't you think the Mark V looks a bit like an Aston Martin at the front, the grille? I'll come to that in a bit later. But I'm actually beginning to think, what are Ford going to do now? They haven't really got anything to offer. I mean, the Mondeo was like the last of the saloon cars. I know, did a lot of people go over to Ford Cougars? Because they're sort of like similar size, but people were beginning to like the four-wheel drives and the crossovers and the bloody sports utility vehicles and all that. So maybe the saloon car has died a death. It seems to be. Tony, hello. I have a 2007 Mark III, one of the last ones. Mondeo 2-litre diesel. It has been a great car. I'm sure it has. A 2007. That was one of the last off the production line, I believe. Them diesel engines, them 2-litre Duratorques, they were bloody nuts. I have to, I mean, for a diesel engine, they were quick. I mean, it's like, I have to keep saying, at the time, not now, but at the time, back then, to see a diesel car accelerate the way them bloody things done was like, wow. It was like blooming unheard of, wasn't it? Anyway, Tony, Happy New Year to you. The Floor Killer. Still have the VHS, the VHS video of its first release issued by Ford. Wow, I'd be more interested in the VHS video and the video recorder. You know, that's another thing I miss. I miss the VHS tapes, not the Betamax. I was never into Betamax, but VHS tape recorder, brilliant. I know it was crap graphics and all that, and the visual quality wasn't very good, but I still liked it. Analog. I like them days. They're gone. But I've still got good memories. I used to have a cupboard full of VHS tapes. All kinds of like Paddington Bear, you know, flipping films and all sorts of bloody stuff. Oh, anyway. Stephen, what's its replacement called? The Von Ass. It may well be. You're welcome, Sean. Dave, hello Dave, how are you? I'm lucky enough to have had Mark I Saloon, Mark II Highly Modified, Mark II ST24 Saloon, ooh, Mark III Titanium X, that would have been a nice one, Mark IV Titanium X, bloody hell, Mark 4.5 Titanium, and now a Mark IV Titanium X Sport. Safe to say I'm a Mondeo man. Wow, that is a lot of Mondeos you've had. And they're all bloody decent models as well. By the way, let me just point out something here, which I don't see in your little lineup, is the Mark IV, the turbo model, the 5-cylinder turbo model with a Volvo engine in it. That was the over 200 brake horsepower, like 150 miles an hour Mondeo Mark IV, wasn't it? That was the one to, I mean, but that one is as rare as rocking horse shit, I believe. So, but even so, in your little lineup, Titanium X, was like the top. Couldn't get any higher than that. Excellent. You've certainly gone through a lot of bloody nice Mondeos. You see, that's what I do. Or I used to do. If I like a car, I'll buy another car, the same model, or a different, well, the same car but a different spec. I was like, keep to what you like. If you like the look of a car, it's like a woman, isn't it? It's like if you like the look of the woman, you stay with her, didn't you? So, just saying. Steve, 210 horsepower, automatic, manual is only 180. Oh, you've been doing your research. I guess it needed more horsepower for the automatic, didn't it? Put all that extra weight. It'll use a lot more fuel as well. Mind you, I do like automatics. I know they call it a lazy man's car, but it gives you a spare, it gives you a free hand, doesn't it? You've got a spare hand to do with what you want. Mark, have a great new year and keep the camera rolling. I will try to very much if I can, Mark. Thank you very much and Happy New Year to you. Darren, Merry Christmas, Alan, and Happy New Year. Love watching you. Thank you very much, Darren. Happy New Year to you. We are nearly in 2023 already. Oh, this whiskey's nice. I do like the JD. Mark, hello. Had my 09 Mondeo Titanium X Sport since 2014. Has never missed a beat. Still going strong. I hope you're touching wood. They are good cars though. If they're looked after, it's like everything. If they're looked after, they'll look after you. That is the theory anyway. It doesn't always work like that, but generally speaking, if you look after your car, it won't give you too much grief. Camille, last week I changed 2 Higo sensors in my DPF because of rising oil in the engine. Mark 5 2 litre TD. I did not change the oil yet, but decided to check something out first. Okay. What did you check out? See, the one I done, it had the code. Within the space of 20 miles, it brought up a code for the Higo sensor. That's why I changed them. So it'll be interesting to see what your findings are. There's not a lot publicised about this oil level rising. It seems to be no one really wants to be talking about it. And it's not a very nice subject to be trying to fix the problem on. Like I say, the first one we done, I ended up changing. I had a second-hand DPF with with the 2 temperature sensors and the 2 Higo sensors, which were all old ones. I mean, the DPF I had, must have had about 300,000 miles on it. But as far as I know, it was okay. And I put the whole lot on the car, and it cured it. It just cured it. So I put it down to, I don't know for sure, it was either one or more of them sensors, or it was the DPF itself that was the problem. I don't know 100% for sure. But I'm getting more cars with this problem now. So I will keep experimenting until I can get a definitive answer. But what I do know is if you've got this problem and you just want to be dealt with it, if you can find yourself another DPF with all the sensors on it, just change the whole bloody lot. That way there's no pissing around. You've just done it and that's it. That will cure it, hopefully. I drove about 50 kilometres today and the remaining oil life dropped by about 4%. I think it's way too much and my problem unfortunately hasn't disappeared. What do you think? Where to start now? I've just said it. Get another DPF. Get a second-hand DPF if you can, with the sensors on it, the whole caboodle, and bolt it on. That's my best advice to you. Change the whole lot, the whole DPF unit. It's without knowing if the sensors don't cure it. I mean, it could be a temperature sensor. You'd have to sort of like do some investigation into it. Maybe one of the sensors is reading too low, maybe causing the DPF to be regenerated all the time. You know, you'd have to have some diagnostics done on it. But it's a difficult subject. It's tricky. So, I mean, to just be dealt with the whole problem, just put a new DPF on it with the sensors in it. And I can pretty much guarantee that will cure it. Myth Saxon, hello, how are you? Happy New Year. Hello, Mr. Godskin. It's Declan Hederman in Ireland. Well, hello. Declan. That's not a bad name, actually. It's original. Well, Declan, good to meet you, and Happy New Year to you, mate. Have a good drink, and we'll see you on the other side, hopefully. So don't drink too much. How many EcoBoost Power Shift Mark 4s Mondeos are still around? No bloody idea. We have nothing to do with automatics. So I couldn't even answer that. Couldn't even come close. The guy I knew who had a power shift, he was loving it. He thought it was great. He changed his oil though every 30,000 miles religiously. So he was doing the right thing for it, and he had no problems. So I've not heard great things about him though. Steve, Big Clive had a tree fall on his transit. Okay. Put it in for repair. Rather than beat the dents out, they cut off the roof and welded on a new one. Well, I guess it depends how much the damage was. I mean, trees always win, don't they? So they say. So it depends how much the damage was. I guess you can I mean most cars you can buy quarter panels. You can buy a whole roof section for sure. They just sort of like cut off the bit they want and weld it on and fill it, and that's it. So it's all clever stuff really when you know what you're doing. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Big Clive's transit is used by his brother for work. He is an undertaker. Oh dear, don't want to know undertakers. I knew an undertaker once. It was a family-run business, and they used to have the bodies laid in the coffins in their living room. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be in your living room. Unfortunately, I think I've outlived them, so I'm all right. Mocko, the compilation of you and Monica was insane. I put that together because I know it's all silly bits, but it's like we've had like four and a half years, something like that, of making videos with all our little bits in between. I just thought it'd be interesting to put all the little bits together as one standalone video, although it ended up being two because the runtime was so bloody long. So it did take me. It took me ages to actually get the bits, find the bits out of each video that I needed. Putting it together was a breeze. It was just finding the bits. So, I mean, it was very time consuming, but I did start like a good month and a half before Christmas. So I did get it done in time. I could have done it better, but I think it came out pretty much okay. But anyway, cheers, Mocko. Thank you very much. It is very rainy and 1 degree. Oh, well, no different here then. That's all we've had. What's today? Friday. We've had rain today, wind. It did get warmer a little bit warmer this afternoon. The day before, Thursday, was cold and clear skies, and the day before that, bloody rain. So it's the same here. It is very rainy, yes. So many Mark 1 and Mark 2s ended up on the banger tracks as they were so tough and durable cars. Oh, that's where they went, is it? Kings Lynn, Great Yarmouth, places like that, yes. I have been to the banger track before. It's not the kind of thing I've done regularly, but I've been a few times, and it's a good day out. You just come home at the end of the day covered in mud and dust and all sorts. But yeah, it's good fun. I like seeing them, sort of like the four-wheel drives when they have smash-ups and the wheels come off, stuff like that. I'm owning Mondeo Mark III 2.5. Ooh, is it 2.5 turbo? Over 9 years and still keeps going strong. Had some issues, stuck open injector issues. Got all new ones and fixed the problem. That's the 5-cylinder, isn't it? That's the quick one. That's the rarest rocking horse shit one. Very nice. I remember me and Kevin were at a car show. I think it was the actual TC Harrison show. There was an ordinary looking Mark IV Mondeo. And because they didn't put the V6s in the Mark IVs, that was the engine, the 5-cylinder. I think it's a Volvo engine. That was the 5-cylinder engine, the Dark Horse. Didn't look anything special, but my God, are they quick. Lovely. Thank you, Steve. You're always on the ball, aren't you? 8:30. Flipping heck. How long have we been running? Nearly an hour now. And I haven't even opened a bottle of bloody Beck's yet. Hang on. Down the hatch. Right. This will probably kill me off for the rest of the evening. Bottle of Beck's. I need the cold beer to push down the warm whiskey. Cheers. The American Mondeo was called the Fusion. Yes. The Ford Fusion. Even the Fusion, the Contour was the Mark 1 version, was the American version of the Mark 1 Mondeo. The Fusion is the American version of the Mark 5 Mondeo. The Fusion, they don't actually look too bad. I've seen a couple over here because we've got the American base across the road. So yeah, they look all right. Still quite a lot of differences though. So hey, hello. Happy New Year to you. Love your channel and the way you explain everything. Yeah, I tend to get a bit more fluent after I've had a few beers. I'm pretty sort of like stuttery on the camera when I'm sort of like sober. So I need a bit of drink and drugs to get me going. Thank you very much. Pleasure. Happy New Year to you. I swear to God, one day this computer is just going to take a shit on me. A lot heavier than the Mondeo. Yes, I bet they are. They look bulky. Is Ford Focus clutch basket can be fitted to my Mark IV Mondeo? Ford Focus clutch basket. I don't know. I don't know. And if when you talk about power shift, I don't get involved in power shifts. All I've ever done with a power shift is change the oil and filter. That's all we've ever done. We don't even have any power shifts. If all our taxi fleet were power shifts, I'd have a wealth of knowledge to explain it all, but I don't. We don't. All our cars are manual. And generally speaking, if we get automatic problems, we'll send them away to Midland Automatics in Kettering because they're really good there. But no, I can't really answer that one for you. Nigel, I have learned so much from your expert channel, much better than watching the BBC. Well, the BBC, you know, they could be brilliant. They used to be, didn't they? They used to be good. They could make some fantastic documentaries and stuff. But it's over the last 6 odd years, they've just gone bloody woke, haven't they, and all that crap. So they're just gone biased, left-wing bias. They're all just trying to push a narrative now, and most people can just see it and just not interested in their bullshit. So you just switch it off and don't pay their bloody license. They can't do nothing about it. If they were to come to the bloody window and catch me sat on the settee watching the TV, then fair enough. But I don't watch the TV, so they can send all the letters out they like. I could have 10,000 television sets in this house, and I could have them all on, watching movies or whatever I want to watch. As long as I'm not watching live TV, they can't do a goddamn thing. And all their little threatening letters, which are only meant to scare you. That's all it is. And I guess it works on a lot of people, but it doesn't work on me because I looked into it and I realised the BBC are selling bullshit. So I won't pay them a penny. And by then they should scrap it anyway. Look, if you wanted Netflix or Sky TV, you've got to pay for it. You've got to subscribe to this stuff. Why doesn't the BBC just do a streaming service like everybody else? And if somebody wants to pay for their service, they'll pay for it, rather than them trying to act like they're the law of the land and you have to pay just for their TV license. It's bollocks. Their days are gone and they're numbered, and I'm sure that TV license will be scrapped anyway, surely. Anyway, I should carry on. Anyway, thank you, Nigel. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, you don't need television anyway. Bloody hell, you've got the internet. You can type in anything, and just about any film, documentary, whatever you want to watch is there anyway. Hi, Mondo. Happy New Year, mate. Many thanks for the laughs with the videos over the festive season. Best wishes to you and your family at Steve's Taxis. Thank you very much, Mondo. Happy New Year to you and all the best to you for 2023. Have a good one. Don't get drunk too much. Hello, Robert. How are you? Greetings from Hull. Love your content. I would like to go to Hull. Where did I go years ago? Redcar, that's where I went. Redcar. I liked it there. It was a scooter run. It was a proper organised scooter run with an all-nighter. Absolutely loved it. They were the days. Hello, Mick. How are you doing? Happy New Year. I'm aiming for new shaped Vito this year. Got a 05 plate at minute. You know them new shaped Vitos? They do look nice, don't they? They're very tempting. I would like one too. Unfortunately, they're quite bloody expensive compared to what they should be. Notice after the pandemic, everything's so much more expensive now. But yeah, I've heard a few things about them Vitos. Manual gearboxes, apparently the bearings in them aren't all that great, and it will have a DPF on it. More trouble. Well, I guess if you get a good one, you might be lucky. I would certainly like one. They're very nice shape, very nice lines in them vans. It's not just a van, is it? It's sort of like they look nice. They're a nice looking van. So yeah, if you do get one, Mick, I'd love to see a picture of it. Whenever I see one on the road, I'm like, nice. Anyway, Happy New Year, Mick. The Floor Killer had no TV license for 4 years. Don't miss it. Too busy watching car videos like yours or the guys at Salvage Rebuilds and the classics. I learn more. Well, that's it. You're not learning from a one-sided bullshit narrative presented by the BBC anymore. Now you've got a million channels. You can watch anyone and anything you want to. It's more interesting, isn't it? Good on you. Raf, hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Greetings, Sydney. Oh my God. What time is it? You're upside down. I should be looking down there, shouldn't I? You're down there somewhere. Well, bloody hell. Put another shrimp on the barbie, mate. Happy New Year to you, Raf. D4NZO, hello. I'm a bit late joining. Was going to watch 8 PM, but fell asleep. First day back on work. Oh dear. I work at Renault and people are now going for an Alcana. It's been very popular. Oh, I've not heard of that. I'll have to look at that. I had a Renault once. It was a Renault 11. I think it was Renault 11 anyway. The worst, it was actually not a bad car to drive. It was just that the sunroof tubes had rotted away and the water ran down straight on the pedals onto my feet every time it rained. Being very popular, it's like Mondeo, but higher up, but not quite as high as a 4x4 and hybrid. We haven't done a Mondeo equivalent car for a few years now, and this is selling. Oh, well, mind you, Renault's been pretty popular over the years, hasn't it? Cars like the Clio, Megane, they have sold pretty well. So, yeah, I've not actually heard of that car though. I will look into that one and have a look, see what I think. Dave, would love one of those with all the Focus RS bolt-ons. Oh yes, of course. Yeah, that would certainly look cool. Also owned 2 times Jags on Arden Limited Edition. One and a Sovereign, basically Mondeo Mark III in drag. Yeah, because the wasn't it the X-Type? The X-Type Jag is basically a Mondeo, isn't it? The funny thing is, we had a Jag in once. We had to get some same engine, 2-litre Durator. We had to get some injectors from Jaguar for this engine. They were cheaper to buy new injectors from Jaguar than the same injectors were from Ford. So work that one out. I have a 180 horsepower. My boss has a 210 power shift. Well, the boss would have the more powerful car, wouldn't he? Mind you, Steve, the 180 horsepower is like pretty, you know, getting up there in here is pretty quick. That's pretty, Nigel, what's next for the forecourt? It's looking like, do you know, it's like, if you mean the sales forecourt, that's going to need filling up with used cars. The problem is getting hold of used cars at a reasonable price is pretty hard, all because of COVID and the bullshit that went with it. So if things ever level out again and the boss is able to buy cars at a decent price, even find cars, it's like everything is getting harder to buy and find. So people are hanging on to what they've got. The auctions aren't the same, so it's like, I don't know. We're just taking one day at a time. I don't know. But thanks for the question. When I do know, I'll let you know. It's like that. Owning a 2002 Mondeo Mark III, 2.5 hatchback. Owning over 9 years, still running, has some issues, stuck open injector issues. Yeah, well, I mean, you're bound to have something go wrong sooner or later. But yeah, 9 years ain't going bad. Just think of all the money you've saved over 9 years keeping that car, rather than swapping cars out. By the way, where were we on our Mondeo timeline? Because if I remember rightly, we were stood back in the year 2000 with the launch of the Mark III, because that ran through to the year 2007. Then enter the Mark IV. I'll tell you something, the Mark IV was a very sleek, modern looking car. If you put a Mark IV up against a Mark III at the time, I'm going back now to 2007. The Mark IV, it looked, in my opinion, the Mark IV looked a lot more modern than the Mark III. Maybe because it was just brand new. It was sleeker. It looked nicer. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say nicer. It looked sleeker. It had different lines to it. It was more of a refined car at the time. The Mark III I always put down as being a very edgy car. It was a bit on the edge, especially on the handling. It was ragged. You know, they were quick cars, especially the diesel engines. The Mark IV didn't quite have the quickness. I'm not talking about the actual 5-cylinder turbo model, but your average Mark IV with maybe a diesel engine in it, or a Z-Tech or Duratec HE, what they put in. It's a Duratec HE engines. They weren't that great for speed, but the Mark III was sort of like quicker. It was the quicker, edgier car. The Mark IV was like, I don't know, I'll just say it was more refined looking, not as quick, not as exciting, but nice, if you know what I mean. So anyway, that's it. 2007, the Mark III came to an end, the Mark IV entered, and the Mark IV ran right the way through till 2014. And the only real powerhouse they made in the Mark IV was that 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbo, which was a very quick car, but they are few and far between. So if you got one, it's rare and you're bloody lucky. Mr. Jones, hello. So happy to see you. Hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm having a good Christmas because I've got plenty of alcohol in the house. And believe me, Christmas time is the only time of the year where I actually get to have a drink properly. Normally, if I've got a bottle of this in a video, it's not because I'm an raving alcoholic, it's because I use it as a prop, just for a scene. I don't drink like, like you might think I do. So, but over Christmas and special occasions, I will have a drink. And I've got WKD Blue, I've got Smirnoff Ice, Jack Daniel's Honey, I've got the standard Jack Daniel's, I've got the Beck's beer, I've got this. It's okay. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Anyway, Mr. Jones, Happy New Year to you for tomorrow. Have a drink, please do. D4NZO Mark III Titanium X. Was lovely. I know they're bloody lovely. They're a nice car. It's even the name, isn't it? I keep saying this. The word titanium sounds good. Had 2.2 TDCI. It shifted. Yes, they bloody do. I know they shift. They were like bloody rockets, them flipping diesels. High pressure pump killed injectors. When he brought it, even had voice control ahead of its time. Just got him a Mint Mark IV trading for replace. Yeah. Yeah, that was the downside though, wasn't it? High pressure fuel pumps failing and injectors. I still have the kit to replace the high pressure fuel pump. There's a special adapter. You take the disc off the chain and you pop the adapter in so you can undo the bolts. And when you undo the bolts and remove the pump from the back, the chain doesn't drop down. Yes, I've not used it in a long time, but I've still got it. I had a Mark IV with oil rise and thinning, dodgy injectors. Yeah, I've not had an oil level rising due to injectors. The problem is to actually blame the injectors would be very, very difficult to do. The trouble is the ECU fires the injectors, and as with these modern common rail injectors, they don't just dump the fuel in the cylinders. They fire 4, 5, 6, 7 times in succession, and the ECU controls the firing of the injectors depending on the load, the speed, and everything else, and what's going on. So it's very complicated. But if I ever find oil level rising, I come to the conclusion it's injectors, I will certainly let you know, but I've not come to that conclusion yet. Musket, hello. DIY going on. You see this? I went to B&Q because in the winds we had I don't know, bloody ages ago, my fence blew down, and I had to get someone round to help me to resurrect the fence and pull the posts out. And of course, the posts are like that flipping deep in the ground with a great big slab of cement at the bottom, and it took like half the frigging day to dig them out the flipping ground. But them pieces of wood was what I used to put on top of the fence. Hammer it down sort of thing, but I had too much of it, so this is all spare. It's all I've got no use for it, but it just sits there, doesn't know where else to put it. Thanks anyway, Musket. Happy New Year. Oh dear. Gajard Signey. Hello. I don't know what to say. I can't say your name properly. Your videos are great, mate. Thanks for making them. It's a pleasure, and Happy New Year to you. Alan, please can I ask, my car is 2014 1.6 TDCi. At 101,000 miles, when do you recommend to change my clutch and dual mass fly regardless? It's making a metal grinding noise only when I release in first gear. I wouldn't change it regardless. Chances are dual mass flywheel is going to start rattling. Once you hear it start rattling, then it's the time to decide when you want to change it, because it'll only get worse. There's more chance, I know I'm not too sure about the 1.6, but on the 2 litres, the flywheels fail when they rattle before the clutch plate wears out, unless you've got a club left foot and you're just wearing your clutch and you're riding the clutch when you're driving. But if you don't do that, the flywheel will probably fail before the clutch wears out. And any driver who knows what he's doing, and these days there's quite a few that bloody well don't, you should never ever get to the point where your clutch is slipping to the point where you completely lose drive. That should never happen. You should notice that your clutch is slipping. So either A, if your clutch starts to slip or it's juddering a lot when you're pulling away in like first gear, or you start to hear your flywheel rattle, that is the time to change the clutch. I wouldn't change it regardless, because that 101,000 miles, that could last another 80,000 miles or more. So what would be the point of doing it now? It's like, just keep your ears open for what's going on. It may last a long time yet, and you're talking probably more than £1,000 to have it replaced, clutch and flywheel. So I would save you money. Just keep listening for anything that don't sound quite right. That's my advice. Use abuse. Is that right? All the best to you, and Happy New Year. You've got another name I can't say properly. Ford Focus. Collie House. Hello. Hi from Gloucestershire. Well, hello over there in Gloucestershire. Is that your lovely little doggy? Bless. Well, Happy New Year to you. I know we haven't got a white Christmas this year. We almost did, didn't we? We were so close. Who do you follow on YouTube? Oh, blimey. Do you know what? To be honest with you, I have subscribed to a lot of people. Not many of them would be car channels, because I don't generally tend to watch much car related. It's other stuff. I generally tend to watch other bloggers, like who travel around. Like you must know Bold and Bankrupt. Someone like him. I don't know. I follow lots of people, but if I can't really say it's car channels, because I just don't really watch that much car related stuff. I just tend to stick to my own little corner. I'd actually have to. The problem is, you get like me subscribing to all these channels because you watch a few of their videos and you think, yeah, bloody hell, this is good. And there's only a few of them you actually continue to watch. And most of the other ones I've subscribed to, I never watch them again. And I guess it's the same, maybe quite a lot of people subscribe to me, and then after a few videos, move on and never watch one of my videos again. It's a bit like that, I reckon. So I have subscribed to a lot of channels. I just have to look them up. I don't even know anymore. There's so many. A lot of them used to be photography channels, Tony and Chelsea Northrop and people like that, and Blue Lightning TV and Photoshop and, you know, stuff like that. Because I used to do sort of like a bit of photography and, you know, used to like to get photos and modify them and do different things to them, and anything I wanted to learn, I would go to YouTube and find somebody who knew what they were talking about, and I'd try and learn off them. And it's like that. But yeah, I mean, I follow lots of people, but I don't watch them religiously, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I shall move on. The Funeral Director, 1965. Hello. Thank you for the videos. Happy New Year to you and your friends. All the best. And Happy New Year to you too. Cheers. D. Nicholson, hello. Thanks for all the repairs. YouTube videos help me with my fire. Excellent. That's the whole point of it. Out of all my stupidity, you've actually managed to learn something. Happy New Year to you. Abdullah, hello. Where is your lovely wife? I don't have a wife yet. I'm not married yet. If I ever do get married, I'll let you know. Mark III 2.5 was the V6. Mark III 2.5. Or was I thinking of a Mark IV at the time? I'm probably thinking of the Mark IV 2.5. Yeah, the Mark III 2.5. Yeah, was the V6. Yes, because they didn't put the V6 in the Mark IV. I must have read it wrong. Engine as the Mark II ST. Yeah. That's it. I'm off to China for a Mark VI. If you go to China, you might not get out alive. You realise that, don't you? That's another channel I actually watch. China Uncensored. I find that highly amusing. Hello, Nick, Arsenal fan. Hi, Alan. Happy New Year. And in your opinion, what is your likes about Mark III Mondeos and dislikes about Mark III Mondeo? I like the shape. I like the drive of the cars. I like the room inside the cars. They're great. They're just a great car. I just like the look of them. It's just like, if I didn't like the look of a car, I really wouldn't comment on it at all. But if I like a car, I'll go on about it. I'll bang on about it. It's the kind of car I go out and buy, because if I like the shape, that's it. It doesn't matter if it's got good or bad points about it. If I like the look of it, I'll buy it. What I don't like about the Mark III, well, if I talk about it now, years later, because all Mark IIIs are pretty old now, is the things that go wrong with them. They tend to break a lot of coil springs. Brake pipes need replacing. They get rotten all the way from like the middle of the car, all around the back subframe. They're a pain. The subframe bushes rot out and they need to be replaced. There's a lot goes wrong with the Mark III that needs to be replaced, although it was better suspension and everything than the Mark I and Mark II. So it was a better, more robust car, but years later, they still need constant maintenance. And now you can get some rotten seals and stuff on them now. Although I will say for the Mark III underneath, they're pretty sound on the actual chassis. and the floor pan, they're pretty good. It's the sills that sort of like go with anything. But yeah, no, the Mark III is how do you call it? A labour of love now. That's the term put for the ST220s. That because when people buy a Mark III, generally they're looking for an ST220, aren't they? But even if you get like a basic model that's in really good condition and you just want to keep it good, you've got to sort of like keep an eye on it, especially brake pipes and stuff like that, because they do burst, they rot out. I've never had a rotten brake pipe on a Mark IV Mondeo. Yet on the Mark IIIs, I've had loads of them. They tend to rot out religiously at certain points. So, and they're not an easy job to change. It's like really, you ought to drop the whole back subframe down to bloody get to them. But I just like the cars. It's a case of, I was around when they were released, when they first came in the year 2000. I was at Steve's Taxis and we had Mark IIIs as Steve's Taxis. And after the Mark II Mondeo, when we had the sales rep come down from Peterborough with a brand spanking new Mark III Mondeo and it sat in our yard, I looked at them little round silver dials around the speedo and that, and I thought, wow, these cars are bloody great. I like these. They just look so nice. I mean, if you compare the Mark III to cars of today, I mean, you'll probably think, oh, well, it's an old car now. But back then, it really was a big deal. It was something. It was interesting. It was magical. It was like, I like them. So I've always had that, like, about the Mark III. I've always liked them since the very first day I saw them. And it doesn't matter if they're a good car or a bad car. I just like them. But there's more good points than there is bad points. They're just a very bloody nice car, and they still hold up today. You get a nice Mark III today, it's still like a fairly modernish shape. It doesn't look out of place. Who's Buies? I probably still said your name wrong. Anyway, I have a Mondeo Mark IV 1.8 TDCi, 125 PS 2010, and have small oil engine leakage from upper sump. Is there any way to fix it without gearbox disassembly? If I remember rightly, in order to remove the sump, you've got to remove the gearbox, because the rear main oil seal has got a plate on it that bolts onto the engine block and onto the lower half of the sump. It's got the aluminium sump, hasn't it? It hasn't got a tin sump, it's got a whole aluminium sump. Yeah. No, there's not a lot you can do about that. If you have to take the sump off, I know this because we had a trainee at the time, and I think he was doing a cam belt change, and he put an axle stand underneath the aluminium sump. And of course, he never put a foam. When we normally use the work, you know, the little manuals in the black cover, the little black case that you get with a car, because we never had no use for them. So we used them as sort of like foam pads on top of axle stands to go against the sump, so you don't crack the sump. But of course, the trainee didn't put a pad on the axle stand, and he lowered the ramp down onto the axle stand, so the sump hit the axle stand, and he cracked the sump, and he had to put a new sump on it. And of course, he had to take the gearbox out to remove the bloody sump, because the rear main oil seal was bolted onto the engine block and the sump. The rear main oil seal came in like a bracket with bolts. The right pain in the arse job that was. I didn't have to do it, but I mean, I witnessed it. So no, if you have to take that sump off, there's no way out of it. You've got to take the gearbox out, and I can't see any other way of doing it, to be honest with you. I think it's one of them jobs you're just going to have to slog it out. What can I say? Happy New Year. Steve, Big Clive also rants about the TV licence letters. Good, he should do. We should all rant about their BBC and their bullshit. Thank you, Steve. Only Fools and Horses did an extra special to Hull and Back. I bet that was a good one. Connie House. I lost a snap-on torque wrench on a Mondeo last year. If you ever see it come in, can you please send it on? Cheers. No worries. Happy New Year. Hello, John. How are you? Anyone seen my 10mm snap-on spanner from 10 years ago? Still paying for it. I would be bloody surprised, actually. Snap-on is bloody expensive. They're good, but they're well overpriced. When you think about it, you can go down to flipping, I hate to say it, but you can go down to Halfords, and for not much money, you can buy a set of sockets and spanners, which aren't half bad. As long as you keep the receipt, if you ever break them, they'll just replace them. Easy. Hello, Robert. Forgot to wish you a Happy New Year. Thank you very much, Robert. Happy New Year to you. Have a drink on me. Tim. Hello, Tim. Happy New Year. Thanks. Oh, well, thank you very much. That is so nice of you. That's almost a bottle of JD. Well, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much, Tim. So, hey, Alan, honestly speaking, how many years we got left in our trade before it completely goes electric, hybrid? I mean, can't be that long, surely. What do you say about this? I say if the world wakes up and gets rid of the World Economic Forum, then everything go back to normal. We can all start building cars again and get on with life. Because it's them bastards in the World Economic Forum that were doing all this shit to us. So there you go. We need Donald Trump back in power, or Ron DeSantis, or we need the Republicans back. Get rid of them bloody Democrats that are destroying America. Get rid of all these climate alarmist craptivists that are telling us global warming is going to kill us all, because we'd all be dead by now by 10 bloody 100 times over. It's never happened. It's all a bloody hoax. So yeah, there's too many idiots in the world that are causing all these problems that we've got. You know, if there wasn't any of these alarmists spouting lies, the world would be normal and we'd all be getting on with it as things were before the pandemic. So, but I don't know. If things carry on the way they're going, cars will still be around for a long time yet. They would literally have to outright ban cars. And I think these fools in power, they might come out with all their woke crap, but they've got no sort of like plan as to what's going to happen when they implement their policies. And generally speaking, these people that think they're so clever, they're not so clever because they don't think ahead. Just like wind and all that bullshit, it's not enough to power the national grid. And it's not going to happen by 2030 with a net zero bullshit either. So, unfortunately, we're being ruled by wankers. That's the best way I can put it. I don't know what we're going to do. Play it by ear, is all I can say. 8:15 Saturday morning, Sydney. Whoa, you're up early. Now, cheers, Happy New Year. I'm getting a beer as well. Lovely channel. You're getting a beer at 8 o'clock in the bloody morning. I'll flipping join you. Mind you, I bet it's nice and warm over there. Well, cheers. Cheers, Chan. Happy New Year. Brilliant. Steve, turned what was left of the turkey into soup. Well, you don't waste nothing, do you? I bought one of them little turkey joints you get out of Tesco's. There was no stuff. I preferred it with some stuffing in it, but I bought stuffing separate, stuffing balls. But no, the little turkey joint I got out of Tesco's, it was just enough for me and the kid. And it was nice. It was succulent. I cooked it properly. So, yeah, it's all gone. There wasn't enough left to make anything else out of it. But that's good. You mean you're all like using everything to get everything you can out of everything, making the most of everything. John, Titanium X, Mark, wonderful. All the kit on them, yes. Yes, they certainly are. Heated seats, that's a good one. I like heated seats on the frosty mornings. Euro Repairs, hello. How is the parts supply situation in the UK after Brexit? I don't put it down to Brexit. I put it down to the pandemic. That's where all the crap seems to be coming from. There have been a few problems a while back on like dual mass flywheels and things like that. Most parts I've been needing in the last few months, I've been able to get, no problem. So I'm not having any issues at the minute. So, but if anything changes, I'll let you know. There have been a few parts in the past, like in this year, that have been difficult to get hold of. So the biggest problem I've got at the minute is getting second-hand T7 something bloody engines for these Mark V Mondeos. These engines have become very rare. That's not new parts, obviously. These are second-hand engines we're trying to get hold of. Very difficult. But as far as genuine parts, flywheels, clutches, anything like that, I'm not having a problem at the minute. For panel fencing, that's what we used. We used the spikes, them big metal spikes, and they've got like a clamp bit on them where you can tighten them up, and you put the post into the spike, where you hammer the spike into the ground, and you can put all the cement around the bottom of the spike, and you hammer the post into the spike, and then you can tighten it up with a bolt. Boom. Yeah, they're brilliant. I like that. I like that idea. Thanks, Steve. Yes, you know what you're doing. Hello, Mark. All the best, and all the best to you, Mark. Happy New Year. Thanks for the videos. Finally getting to the bottom of what's causing diesel in oil on my Mark V Mondeo. Your videos helped in it massively. Well, I hope you find out what the problem is at the end of it, because it's a shitty job trying to solve that one. And my best advice at the minute, if it's not the HEGO sensors, is to replace the whole DPF unit as one unit. Hello, John. Hope Santa was good to you. Do you know what? I don't think we've got a living, breathing Santa driving a taxi at Steve's Taxis. The only thing is he hasn't actually dressed up in a Santa suit, but if he did, he would look the part. But I don't really think much about. I mean, I like Christmas. I like the lights and everything. I like having the Christmas dinner and a drink, and that's about it for me. As far as presents go and stuff, I don't get presents anymore. I get a couple of little bits and pieces, but nothing much. But I don't really think about presents. It's just a good opportunity to have a little bit of a rest and a drink and a nice little drink and a nice dinner and some chocolates and stuff like that. So, but yeah, well, thank you very much, John. Happy New Year to you. Timestamp, Steve. Yes, I'm going to have to call time, guys. We were at 2014 at the introduction of the Mark V Mondeo, which ran through to 2021. axed in 2022. I think that's about it. The Mark V Mondeo. What a lovely car. Well, it's a lovely looking car. It's got its problems, I know, but it's all, what can you do? They've had to put on all these emission related parts which aren't great. They fail. When I look at the Mark IV Mondeo, they didn't have as much emission related. They didn't have this huge, great big flipping EGR valve, did they? They had a fair size EGR valve, but it was fairly reliable, and it was made of metal. The Mark V EGR valve, Mark V Mondeo 2 litre diesel, the EGR valve has a plastic casing on it which cracks and leaks, and the same with the thermostat housings. They've put on an electronic thermostat, which, if the glued joints or the gasket at the back that holds it onto the engine doesn't fail, the whole bloody front just breaks off and they piss water everywhere. I don't ever recall having a thermostat housing in the Mark IV Mondeo leaking. But anyway, what can you say? The Mark V Mondeo was it still is a fantastic car. And like most people will know, if you buy one of them cars from Newell, you get a very low mileage one. They'll do 100, 150,000 miles before you have any trouble. I mean, I'm talking the worst of the Mark V's because we're taxis. They're abused. They're drove 24/7. They're being driven by a lot of people. They're thrashing them around all over the place. They have to drive around quickly to do the runs, pick their passengers up, and town driving, urban driving, motorway driving. And there's all different drivers getting in and out of these cars. And a lot of the drivers don't really care about the cars. It's not their car. So all the Mark V's we've got, they're not lovingly looked after. So they take a lot of abuse. So that's half the reason why I get so many problems with them, because the way they're driven. But for most of you out there who own a Mark V, you probably drive it carefully. You lovingly look after it because you have to pay for it. It's like everything. If you have to work something, you can work for something and earn the money to pay for it. You're going to look after it. You get something for nothing, you don't respect it. But that's it. The Mark V Mondeo ended production in this year, wasn't it? It was this year. Farewell to Mondeo, man. That's all I can say. What is going to be next? I don't know. I will say though, the Ford Cougar, I've not ever been a fan, but since I've drove one, they're not bad to drive. They're quite nice. I quite like them now. But it's no substitute really for a proper four-door saloon car or a saloon, maybe a estate car. So, but there again, the world's changing, isn't it? So, who knows? This video tonight was just about the beginning of the Mark I Mondeo back in 1993, and it's ran all the way through to 2022. And for those of you who still have Mondeos, I hope you enjoy them as much as you can while you still can. Especially for some of them, where the road tax is being put on you really high amounts of money and pushing you off the road. That's what they're trying to do, I know. Enjoy it while you can. Get as many photos of your cars. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to have to call it a night now because time is getting on. It's now like we've been running for nearly 2 hours. Oh my God. And there's loads of comments left, and I'm not going to get through it all, guys. So I don't know what to say. Let me just skim through just a few quick ones, and then I'll have to call it a night. Tazio, your two-part Christmas special was hilarious. Looking forward to many more videos. Love my Mark IV. Thank you very much, Tazio. Happy New Year to you. John, I missed out on a ST220 estate for £500, not far away from me needed minor work. It was an MOT failure. It sold quick. I bet it did. Yes. ST220 estate. That would have been a good one. Jay Byfield, hello. Have you watched the Grand Tour's funeral for a Ford episode? No. No, I'll have to look it up. But Happy New Year. I imported my wife from China back in 2011. Warranty is now expired. Curbside Classics, hello. Oh, is that Ford Anglia? Hi, Alan, and chat, love the channel. Have a great, you too, mate. Have a good one. Alan, are you bring a book out about how to fix your Mondeo Mark V? I should do, actually. Why don't they make Haynes manuals anymore? Race Car Legends, hello. Have you told them about the first time we found out they had wet belts? Have you told them about the first time we found out? Oh, is that Barry? I think I have. Barry, is that you? Race Car Legends? I think I did mention it a while back. Yeah, the 1.8 TDCI Mondeo, when we had them in the Mark IV Mondeos, I believe they were from 2008 to 2010 we had these cars. We believed they had a timing belt. Well, they did. They had, they had a timing belt. And we believed in the bottom of the crankcase there was a chain, because it was like a sealed, like a metal casing, and like there won't be a cam belt in there. There'll be a chain in there because it's like a crankcase. So we just replaced the top timing belt. And there was this particular car, taxi. It came in, well, on the back of a breakdown truck. It had done nearly 100,000 miles, and it broke down. And we didn't know why it broke down. So when we got it on the ramp, we were spinning the engine over, and it sounded like it had no compression. And I think we looked at the cam belt, and the cam belt looked all right. I thought, well, that's a bit weird. So then we decided to take the sump bung out. And as we were draining the oil, there was like teeth, like cam belt teeth coming out of the sump in the oil. And we're looking at these teeth in the sump oil, and we're thinking, how the hell is there cam belt teeth in the sump oil? And, and the penny slowly dropped, didn't it, as we sort of like discovered that there was actually a rubber belt running in engine oil in the crankcase. We never even knew they had wet belts. We never knew they existed until we saw them rubber teeth coming out. And then we found out what they did have wet belts. And from that moment on, it was like, oh shit. And we ended up changing all of the wet belts in all our taxis to chain conversions. We had like all our tools laid out on a bench, and we had the cars coming in, and we were just doing them like one after the other. And it's like, I had it down to, I could do a chain conversion from a wet belt on a Mark IV Mondeo in probably 3.5 hours. And you can imagine doing one car after another. And we had quite a lot of Mark IV Mondeos. But yeah, that's how we found out. So I wish I had a camera back then. It would have been fantastic. I'd have been doing videos back then, but I never. But anyway, I should move on. Anyway, Race Car Legends. Barry, I'm pretty sure that's you. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. Happy New Year to you, mate. Do you have a Mondeo as your daily driver? If so, which mark and model? I don't even own a car anymore. I just borrow a car from work. So I have whatever I'm given. Dutchman Johnson, Mark IV. Thanks for replying. I treat my clutch like a newly born baby. Well, it should last you a long time then, so don't go about replacing it for no reason. Just wait until it goes wrong or starts to go wrong, then think about replacing it. Timothy Dix, hello. Have you collected any classics, i.e. Cortina Mark III, 3 V6 and also Ford Capri? The valves had single adjustable bolt for every tappet. That was rocket science. Well, Happy New Year and all the best to you. I have had Cortina Mark IIIs in the past. I've never had a Ford Capri though. I wish I'd had one because I like the Capris. But I've had Cortina Mark IIIs. But I don't have a car at the minute. I'd love to have a classic, but I haven't got the space for it. So yeah. I used to enjoy cars back then because when, especially your own car, when you set the valve clearances up, even with points and condenser, you would set the points up, and then you set the ignition timing up. Then you would adjust the carburetor. And your car would run so much better after you've done all them adjustments. And nowadays, you change the oil and filter and the fuel filter, and that's about it. Anyway, Timothy, Happy New Year. Nick, Merry Xmas and a great new year. Mark IV 2-litre auto, juddering on pulling away only on hills. Gearbox no faults, oil and filter service to Ford spec. Any ideas? No, we don't do automatics. I would say phone up Midland Automatics in Kettering. The guy there he knows his stuff on automatics. He's really good. Give him a ring and ask the question. The chances are they'll be able to answer that one. Oh, and you've got a mini pub in your house. Yeah. Well, hell, it's Christmas. You've got to get a few drinks in. Thank you, Andy, for your opinion and all the content which you're producing on YouTube. Warm greetings from Poland. Hello in Poland. See you on YouTube, TV, and maybe in real someday in the future. Well, thank you very much. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Daniel, well said about electric cars. Load of rubbish. Yeah, I don't think about them either. It's like, I think they're a fad. They're a rich man's toy. I know that some of these electric cars, they can pull away from the traffic lights, sort of like I mean, I'll give them that. They really know how to shift from the traffic lights. They can move. Bloody hell. But I can't see it catching on. Not for everybody. It's all right. It's all right in certain circumstances, but not for everybody. It's not going to work, especially when it comes to freight and lorries and all that. It just ain't going to cut the ice, is it? It's the same as when you come electric cars. You don't tow caravans with electric cars. I mean, it's just not. It's impractical. I think it's all a load of rubbish. I mean, yeah, sure, they've probably got a place. It's technology, and they've got a place in the world. But it's like when you get it like being rammed down your throat, that's what you need to get, and it's going to cripple people. You can't afford it anyway. Most people can't afford an electric car. They're far too bloody expensive. And electric cars, they're not green. They're still using the bloody national grid to power them, aren't they? And that comes from fossil fuels. It's certainly not wind and solar that's powering the national grid. So, and all the metals, all the precious metals that are mined deep in the ground, they have to be dug out of the ground to make the batteries for these electric cars. And what's going to happen to all these batteries when they die? You know, it's like it costs a lot of money in fossil fuels to dig these bloody minerals out of the ground to make these electric cars. So there's nothing bloody green about them, that's for sure. It's just sort of like virtue signalling, isn't it? Sort of like for a lot of people, or for these companies that want to push them to follow that narrative. Anyway, Daniel, have a nice New Year. Don't get too drunk. Do you remember the Mark 1 sometimes come in pre-wide for illuminated door handles? No, I don't actually, because all the ones we had were like LX model. I think they were the basic ones. So we never get to see the top models. Right, I'm going to have to call it, guys, because it's been like 2 hours now, and I'm only supposed to run. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. 2 hours is better than 1 hour because it is sort of like just coming up to New Year's Eve. But I'm going to have to. Oh, let me get to Chucky. I've got to answer Chucky because Chucky. I watched all 7 Chucky films and I love Chucky. So I want to see Obama's tax. Yes, of course we want to see Obama's tax returns. They've spent 6 bloody years looking into Donald Trump's tax returns. Why don't we see Hillary Clinton's bloody tax returns? Of course, they're left-wing nutters. They get a pass, don't they? Bloody Barack Obama has sat on his bloody arse for 8 years and done stuff all. He gets a pass. By the way, isn't his mansion about 2 feet above sea level? And he's worried about global. No, he's not worried about global warming, is he? Because he knows it's a load of bollocks. That's why his £7 million mansion sits about that flipping high above sea level. He's not worried because he knows it's a load of crap. Anyway, thank you, Chucky. Have a good New Year. Nice to hear from you, mate, and nice you actually got on the live stream tonight. Carl, hello. No PM would be better. I heard that I watched My Hard Tusi tonight. That Jacob Rees-Mogg might be running for PM in this country, and I thought that's got to be better than that bloody globalist shill Rishi Sunak. Anto Den, hello. 08 S-Max, 1.8 TDCi, O2 sensors located. They'd be on the bloody exhaust manifold right at the top. That's where they'd be. Probably hard to find. You have to look down the back on the manifold. Hello, Mark. We have had 4 Mondeos in family. Lad still runs a ST diesel estate. Love my Mark IV estate. Diesel titanium. It starts, runs. It's quick. It's quiet. It's comfortable, and you can put a sofa in the back. Estate cars are bloody useful, aren't they? And especially when they're titanium models, they've got heated seats. Anyway, Mark, Happy New Year to you. Hello, John. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Thanks, and I hope your head is okay in the morning. It'll bloody well have to be. I've got to go to work. No, I'll be fine. This is only 4%, so that's all right. But I do like the Beck's beer. It's quite easy going. Sean, night everyone. God bless. God bless you, Sean. Happy New Year to you. Hello, darling. How are you? He is drunk now. No, I'm not bloody drunk. I'll see you later. All the best, Alan, for 2023. You too, John. Have a good one. Kenner's Farm, thank you for the like, guys. Thank you to Kenner's Farm. God bless. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Kenner. We haven't got to New Year yet. We're just saying it's sort of like a day early. Mind you, you're probably closer to New Year. You're like 8 hours closer. Chucky, Happy New Year to you. Oh, you're all saying your goodbyes now. Chucky. Because Chucky is classic. Chucky is classic, not 80s, 80s, 90s. Chucky never dies. Connie House, they might make a Mondeo. A Mondeo. You never know. They might do. All the best. All the best to you, John. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Right, I can see you're all saying your goodbyes. Benoit, good evening to you, Benoit. Happy New Year to you. Chucky, do I need the sorry? The what? I don't know. Alan's a good mechanic and a funny guy. Thank you, Benoit. PMC, can you change a Mark 5 Mondeo rear caliper without a scan tool? You can. You can do it on the switch, on the handbrake switch and brake pedal, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes it will work. If you have to Google it, there's a sequence you can do using the handbrake switch and brake pedal. But I've tried it. Some cars it'll work on, other cars it just doesn't seem to work for some reason. But you might get lucky. I know, Steve. Time is cracking on, isn't it? But there again, it is the end of the Mondeo, so it doesn't matter dragging it on a little bit longer. Become more talkative. Yes, indeed, you do. You know, loose lips and alcohol. Do I need the sport grills for my Mark IV Titanium X Business Edition? I would like to improve his face. Judder is normally engine mounts. Thanks, Anna. I hope your head is okay. It will certainly be okay in the morning. It's not a crap. I don't know what's crap and what's not anymore. Back then, all cars came with model-specific wiring loom. Just plug in the extras to your basic model. Not anymore. Is bad even worse than what they said? I don't even know what half these comments are anymore. Clifford, hello. Hi there. I have a Mark IV Mondeo. It has a clunk when setting off, only in first gear, but I am still using it. Well, it might just be a gearbox mount as the engine rocks. There's a gearbox mount in the back. It might just probably be that. I believe they do get knocked out, the bush. I think we've had some of these. SEL, hope you got money a nice Xmas Prezi. Yes. Good night, Finn. Happy New Year. Good night, John. Happy New Year to you. We've got to the end of the stream. Andra, 30 years, not so long ago. Oh, it bloody is. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't, but it's been a long time with the Mondeos. Vivian, cheers, Vivian. Happy New Year to you. Don't get too drunk, mate, and I'll see you in the new year. David, Alan rang you about diesel Passat. It's the same as a Mondeo. Well, all the followers put it back together. Right, good, excellent. You got it sorted. Always good news. Have a good one. End of chat. Thanks, Steve. Kenner's Farm says Happy New Year, Vivian. Hello, Jerry. Thanks for you dropping by. Are you entering the annual car parts throwing championship? I should do. I like throwing bits into wheelie bins. Thank you, Jerry. And by the way, Happy New Year to you, mate. Have a good drink on me. That's it. We're done. That's the end of the stream. So I'm going to call time. We've ran for like 2 hours now. So thank you, everybody who's joined the live stream. Have a good drink out there. And all of you, stay safe. Have a happy new year. Bless you all. And I'll see you all in the new year. Bye, guys. Cheers. See ya. I'm pressing the end button now. Bye-bye.